Welcome in, everybody. Today is, usually I'm out on Saturday morning, but I was barely functioning yesterday morning after the Halloween party. So here we are. We are going to do our 45-minute walk here around the Seven Seas Lagoon. The path does go all the way from the Ticket and Transportation Center to the Magic Kingdom gates. And we are going to start out here at the Polynesian. Welcome! We'll do a quick little intro. I know everybody's getting in here. This is a 45-minute training, walk, run, jog, spin bike, drink your coffee and enjoy. That's fine. We'll have a bunch of Walt Disney World history, a little bit of Run Disney chat, and also a little bit of motivational topics for today. So the beautiful Polynesian bungalows are behind us. It is 8 o'clock. We try to be pretty prompt on this. So I'm going to give everybody just 30 seconds while I give the rundown. So if you're looking for more of a park stream, don't worry, we'll be out later tonight. I believe that the channel manager will be there. She works for Slushies and Plushies. But this morning, this is simply a POV. That's the last time you're going to see me on camera. And this is going to be used. You can go ahead. We have a whole playlist of all of the past Run Disney training POVs that you can check out. So if you want to do that, we've got a long list now that is built over the years. So if you want to check out more of a park stream, don't worry, we'll be live later tonight and this week. But for this morning, this is 45 minutes, so you pretty much can set your watch to it. And you can use this however you choose. So, speaking of, let me set my own watch here. It is a gorgeous morning. It is 8:01, so we're going to get started. And also before I start, just a reminder, I don't interact with the chat as much as I do in the parks because mainly I'm focusing on walking and watching my watch. Come on. There we go. Okay. Let me change it up a little bit. Okay, welcome in. So let's start this. So if you are just starting, just another friendly reminder here on these Run Disney training POVs, I try to walk at a pretty good clip. And yes, I do walk for a couple of reasons. One, I can run. However, I try to do my 45 minutes at the 16-minute minimum walking requirement. So that gives anybody kind of at whatever pace, a decent idea of, you know, kind of what it's like. And if you're walking along, this is lowest, the minimum. So 16-minute pace is what I'm walking at. That's what Disney requires for their long distances. If you're trying to get into a 5K, that pacing requirement is not necessary. It's very, very peaceful before it gets too busy with everybody going to the park. This is Maria. We'll kind of walk through the gardens here a little bit. So here at the Polynesian, it opened in 1971. So that might sound familiar to you because it opened along with two other resort locations at the opening of Walt Disney World. That is the Contemporary and the campgrounds. It's probably most famous because of all of the lush greenery, the theming that went into this. I think that of all the Walt Disney resorts across the property, you know, this is just personal preference, but I think when people think about Walt Disney World or just Disney resorts, I think the Polynesian is probably the most iconic. It's hard to say. I know people envision the contemporary, but whenever you're on the monorail, it's interesting if you're just sitting there listening and kind of observing people who are on the monorail with you. You get the most oohs and ahs from as soon as we come up to the Polynesian. It's, oh, that's the Polynesian. Look, it's the Polynesian. There's a lot of people who make this a must stop, even if they're not staying here, you know, just to walk around and enjoy it. On this one, for now, the paths walk a little bit close to some of the rooms in some of these buildings in the longhouses, and they refer to them as longhouses, not necessarily you're in building 5. So I might be talking a little quieter in some areas because it is quite early. The park technically opens at 9. So if it's a little hard to hear me, I'm sorry. It's just temporary when I walk up close to some of the longhouse patios. So it actually has had 3 major expansions, which to me isn't that much given how old this property is. There's some of the Walt Disney World resorts that have changed like time after time after time, you know, since they opened, but only 3 major expansions. So in 1978, they added the extra pool. They added building. And then in 1985, they added 2 additional longhouses. And then, of course, everybody knows about the very exciting news. Well, I should say some people love it, some people hate it. Now that it's here, the Polynesian Island Tower, it doesn't bother me that much. It is mainly for Disney Vacation Club rental guests. The views are spectacular. And to be honest, as much as people complain about it being a tall structure amongst the, you know, only 3-story longhouses, it's not as much of an eyesore as I anticipated it to be when the announcement happened. So the Polynesian Island Tower will walk past, and it officially opened December of 2024. So it's not even quite 2 years old. And I have been in the rooms. They are beautiful. They have some good amenities. I could talk for a long time about Disney Vacation Club. No, I'm not a Disney Vacation Club member. But I do know a lot about it. And the bungalows over water, I think, is another bucket list, like Disney dream for so many people. When they built these 2, I still am skeptical. So the bungalows that are right next here to where we're walking, they're over water, yes. They have little plunge pools, very cute. I'm sure the view is spectacular, but I'm still skeptical of how enjoyable it is hearing those fairies, because they bring out all the fairies at park close. You know, right now in the morning is different. Like, I'm not really concerned about the daytime, but you know, 11, 12, 12:30 at night, I question how enjoyable it is for those bungalows that are on the very, very end, like right next to the dock. That's just my thought, you know. So this has a pathway that starts at the Ticket and Transportation Center. They opened the pathway officially in late 2020. That goes from, well, it might have technically opened right before there was the park shutdown, but I think most people started getting used to it after the parks reopened in 2020 and, you know, acclimated. The pathway goes from the Ticket and Transportation Center through the Polynesian, through the Grand Floridian, and then you can go from the Grand Floridian straight to Magic Kingdom, you know, walking. I personally think that was a excellent idea. I love that. I know at the end of a park day you can be exhausted, but oftentimes it's so chaotic. Like you have, it's almost like a choice between what's worse. Do you cram into a resort monorail because they use the resort monorails at the end of the night to put park guests on there, and they tell them, hey, we're using both sides. So the resort side, you're going to have to go from the park. They go around towards the Contemporary. They stop at the Ticket and Transportation Center. Then if you're here at the Polynesian, you wait for all those people to get off. Then you get off here. And if you're at the Polynesian, is it ideal? No, but sometimes it can take, you know, over half an hour to wait in line. Then you stand in the packed monorail when you could just walk over here in 15 minutes. So oftentimes I'm sitting there wondering, what's better? What's the least? And if you walk at the end of the night, the path is kind of like this. It's super quiet. It's super peaceful. So to me, it's not my favorite thing. I'm not advocating that if you can't make it, because there's lots of kids, you know, at the end of the night. But if you're up for a leisurely walk, there's nobody pushing, nobody shoving. It's very quiet. It's very peaceful to walk along Seven Seas Lagoon after the park, you know, while everybody's kind of in the mess, waiting for the ferry and the monorail. Having that peaceful walk. And it's pretty direct. I mean, you go right from Magic Kingdom, right from Grand Floridian, in front of the wedding pavilion, and then it just comes straight over here. Especially if you're in the Island Tower, or you're at one of the buildings, the longhouses that are more on the Grand Floridian side of things. So thanks so much for joining this morning. We're doing a short little Run Disney training POV. I'm kind of spending more of my time weaving around here at the Polynesian. A lot of times I just kind of go straight through and, you know, I'm in and out. But I'm going to weave through the buildings a little bit. There's a couple of spots, mainly by this area, where sometimes signal just isn't awesome. Might get a little bit of static, but it's usually pretty quick. Don't forget, hit the thumbs up. And if you want to check out lots of the other POVs at the resorts, we'll have some coming up in the coming months. And I've got a whole playlist. But yes, it is very famous for being on the monorail loop, speaking of, which is a huge draw. You can get a lot of places really quickly. It's a lot of fun. My little one very much feels that the monorail is a ride, a part of the Magic Kingdom as equally as the attractions that are at the Magic Kingdom. And I believe that that's what Walt intended, you know, kind of the vision with all of those that started putting ideas together for this. Another thing that you'll note, because I just saw here, there's a lot of very lush and traditional landscaping here. Now, with some of the construction, I know, there's been some tough choices made, also with weather, where some of the original landscaping and the things that they put in that were meant to be traditional Hawaiian plants, Polynesian, Tahitian plants, are no longer, because, like, for example, in January this year, we had just a brutal week one day, or one week, where there was just insane temperatures. And they dropped so low. Much of my own landscaping at my house did not make it. I think the Polynesian and the landscaping cast members did an unbelievable job doing their best. And it, you know, when you look at some of the homes in our neighborhood, there's a lot of people who had to replant. There's a lot of people that are still working on things. I know I am, because there was a number of, as soon as it came spring, I think everybody rushed to anywhere that you could buy plants and bushes and, you know, that kind of stuff. But so there wasn't, it was all taken really quickly. So for me, I thought, it's okay. It looks fair enough. I'll work on it. I'm not going to plant something that's like not great. You know, just pick up whatever's left. Very popular. So they've, speaking of resorts and Disney policies, there was quite a whirlwind just a couple weeks ago about where can you go at the Polynesian, where can you go on Disney property. Oh my gosh, you can't take the buses, you're not allowed here, you're not allowed there. And there's a lot of misinformation. There's a lot of information that's right, but ultimately the only policy change that Disney really made was it was impairing, at the time that they made the announcements, which was good, bad, or otherwise, right before the 4th of July. The 4th of July, the Walt Disney World property already goes on a pretty big lockdown. So all of the things and the tips and the tricks that people like to talk about are kind of out the window for the July week, because they're same thing with New Year's Eve. No, you cannot just come over here and watch the fireworks from the beach. Same thing with the Grand Floridian. In fact, I don't come over here as much as I used to, and I really don't recommend it as much as I used to anymore. They are trying to get into allowing the viewing to be more of the guests who have rooms. But yes, it is true. If you have a dining reservation and you are here dining in the evening, sure. If you are at the Contemporary, you're on the 4th floor platform there, sure, like they're not checking room key, you know. And I say room key loosely, because here at Disney, you can enter your room like 6 different ways. But yeah, 4th of July, New Year's, there's a real big crackdown on you're not getting in. You have to be pretty specific, have a room, not just, hey, I'm dining, so now I get to go where I want. And sometimes people make it seem that way, but it's also a matter of, you know, if you have a dining reservation, I think there's too many tips being given from whomever you want to decide of, no, you cannot, you don't have full access to the pool. No, just because you ate or had a reservation somewhere, but you're not actually staying there, you don't have all access. So I think that's where people got into an uproar is, can you walk this path? Yes. That's another reason why I held off on some of the return here of the Run Disney runs. There's a lot of people who are getting real rough. But people say a lot of things on social media in general, so there's that. But yes, I parked in the Magic Kingdom parking lot. Here's what I do. If you want to do as I'm doing and you're not staying here, I park in a theme park parking lot. So, and yes, last week I was at the boardwalk. I parked at Hollywood Studios. The parking lots in the parks open an hour before. Yes, you can walk on the pathway. Again, there's so many people that are, you can't be around, you can't do this, you can't do that. But sure, you can walk on the pathway. The same thing goes, I mean, I know this is kind of a stretch, but believe it or not, there are people that are have anxiety, have stress, are very nervous to get into those monorails. One, they are shoulder to shoulder, especially in the mornings. The ferries can get pretty packed too, especially at night. So having an option for people to get to the Magic Kingdom without taking those two is doable. Now, if you're trying to do it on a holiday, that's a whole other scenario. But no. See, I mean, there's nobody out here. There's nobody saying I can't walk on the pathway. So just putting that aside, if you said, you know what, I always want to wake up and just have my training run, maybe just do a walk along the path here and just enjoy the sunrise. It's beautiful. It's worth it. So we're about at the halfway point. About the halfway point. So if you are walking along, jogging along, however that may be, if you need to turn around, that now will be a good time because it's about the halfway point. We're just passing the Island Tower. So I didn't get to mention because we passed. Oh,
I get back in time.
Face itch. They're actually, shockingly, I mean, I don't know what Disney's preventative measures are. There's certainly that to account for. But for having this body of water here, normally you get lots of bugs and mosquitoes and things. I rarely have an issue. So I know that they treat their property in different ways. I'm no expert at bug treatment, but that's another thing to know. It's very pleasant because of all the places that I've walked where You feel like when you're out running outside sometimes, you don't have to be in Florida. I just meant in general, whether, you know, at your home or a park nearby. So often I feel like I'm eating bugs as I'm running, and I'm like, ugh. I guess it's just the pixie dust that keeps them at bay. The wedding pavilion is here. It's beautiful. It's as beautiful as they talk about. So we are coming up on Disney's Grand Floridian. It's been a great morning. Hardly anybody out. It's very quiet. Normally you already see people walking about. But once again, guys, we're just making it to the Grand Floridian. Oh. All of these resorts around the Seven Seas Lagoon, I failed to mention, are deluxe resorts. Means a couple things. First is they're very expensive. You know, when you think about your traditional, just Hampton Inn, the one that's wherever you live, those are pretty common in every city. You know, you might get that for like 100, 120, 130, maybe less than 100 if you're in a really awesome deal there. But Grand Floridian has been going for easily, right, depending on which room, okay? Depending on which room, anywhere from $700 a night to a couple thousand. Obviously, the penthouse suites are near insane prices. They are beautiful. The drawback lately is they've been doing a lot of construction. That's been the talk of Disney fans, Disney resort guests for the last year or so. The most notable change at the Grand Floridian is the lobby. It's upset a lot of people. They've changed it in design minorly as far as the decor is concerned. However, they still have the piano player. Excellent addition. Over the years, they've had a lot of live entertainment. They keep live flowers in there. You know, it's not just the very well done artificial flowers. They have a florist come in and change out the flowers here. And it's always the most beautiful arrangements. On top of that, you have the change of how their Christmas tree will be. And I know it's very upsetting that they're not going to do the gingerbread display. They may have a display, but it's not going to be what you're used to. There's no gingerbread house anymore. They did not have, you know, the Easter display like they commonly do. So they've put in a bar in the lobby, which has frustrated a number of people. They do have many dining establishments here, all of which that we've dined at are very delicious. I will unfortunately say I'm not a fan of 1900 Park Fare. I've tried, I've wanted to, I just can't. One, I believe that the food isn't that great. The characters, I feel like, are a mismatch. Like there's Aladdin, but then you also have Mirabelle, and Tiana's in her like expedition attire. I don't know. The whole thing, it used to be Mary Poppins. And then in the evening you'd have Cinderella and the stepsisters. That made sense. 2 different experiences, a morning and an afternoon. Same decor. You know, there's no changeover. It's just kind of different in experiences for characters. And that made sense. Now it's just all day, you know, breakfast or dinner is what I'm trying to say. But it's this, I know that, I think they're trying to call them like adventure characters, and I'm not feeling it. I just wasn't feeling it. I tried. I really tried. So if it's on your list and you love it, I'm sorry. I just think that there's better places that are more cohesive. Okay, I'm gonna slow down for a second. They've got hang tight. Narcoossee's right up here, I feel, is a hidden gem. Adam and I love it. I think next to California Grill, I've never had a bad meal here. The view is astounding. And they always have excellent service. I can't speak highly enough for Narcoossee's. So if you don't want a kind of strict 3-course meal at California Grill, Narcoossee's is a option where you can, you know, pick everything a la carte, whether you want an appetizer, an entree, dessert, versus California Grill at the Contemporary. You have kind of a fixed menu, fixed price, and then there's add-ons if you wish, but you have to choose from those selections. And the view of the fireworks is beautiful here. I like it. They have their own viewing platform. You can kind of see it here on the right. So if you're here in the restaurant during fireworks time, you can step out on the platform and it looks equally as spectacular as the California Grill. You know, I like seeing from this perspective versus up on the California Grill, you're kind of looking down at them, right? Here, you see this shimmering, sparkling. You can kind of see it right now with the sun glistening off the water. The fireworks do the same thing, and so some of the photos that you get of the fireworks reflecting off the water here are just gorgeous. And you can hear it here a bit. There is speakers. I can tell they've replaced those speakers recently. They look really nice and they sound really nice. They were a little crackly and old the last time I was over here, so that must be something that they recently improved. But now you can see it wraps all the way around, so there's plenty of space. You can come out on the dock if you want. There's a small little walkway if you wish. But, you know, standing on their reserved areas is fine too. Just as beautiful. Okay, guys, so it's been 30 minutes. I'm gonna walk around a little bit. Probably not right to security, but we'll walk around a bit and then we'll head back to the Polynesian. Yeah, let me know. Are these resorts on your bucket list? Are there things that you would love to see changed about them, or things you've experienced with them? Grand Floridian here. It's got 2 pools. There's already people in there. Wow. Well, it's not so early. There's such a diverse guest attendance. People on such unique time zones all the time. So I've learned, being in Florida for so long, it just never phases me. Because people are out late, they're up really early, and to me, there's people here from everywhere. So it doesn't ever faze me anymore if somebody's like up at like 4 in the morning. Or it's like 2 in the morning and they're ready to go. Me, on the other hand, early mornings are a struggle. That's for sure.
Okay. It was like yesterday. It was an accident. Why don't you go into this lane? You don't want the right lane?
Sunday mornings, you do see a lot of people who check out. That's pretty normal. Lots of people come in for the weekend and check out. So Sunday mornings, yeah, I can understand why they're a little bit lighter. Oh, you know what I forgot to talk about? Run Disney. I think it's this Tuesday. I'm pretty sure it's this Tuesday. They are launching the virtual races. You can run from home. And they send you the package of medals, and they're Halloween themed. And the Halloween designs for the virtual races look fantastic. If you are a fan of Disney Halloween, Disney Not So Scary, any of that, you should really check it out. I'm not normally a virtual medal kind of person, but I'm thinking that for our walks, maybe I will get the virtual set, and then we'll plan each walk, based on the amount. We can accomplish anything that they have because they're all like 5K-ish. And then what I'll do is I will do giveaways for each of the medals, and I'll send them out each week. That's what I'm thinking. I'll snag one of those medal boxes. We'll walk them, run them all together, and then I'll send one out each week that we completed. So that was something in my thought process. They're really neat. Or if you want the whole set yourself, of course, it's possible. So we'll come up here to the bridge, then we'll turn around. You have a great idea of if you want to just do a walk to get to the park in this way, or you would like to come and do a training run in this area. This particular section is just, there's almost nobody on this pathway, and it's beautiful. It's one of my favorite locations in all of Walt Disney World property. Incredibly relaxing. We're here for a little motivation this morning. So obviously I'm walking at a good clip, but I could easily get myself a cup of coffee, just have a very leisurely walk in the morning, walking over here. Sometimes you see some of the local animals. Nothing crazy, nothing that's gonna get you, but anything from deer, armadillo. I have yet. There's lots of gators. It's Florida. There's just no getting around it. But I personally have not seen any in this area, at least. They're there, but you can't even get to the water and they can't get to you. nor are they looking to get to anybody. I don't know, there's one day I was doing a live walk with you guys, and I saw a raccoon one morning. It was early. I don't know, this was like 6 months ago, I think. Right over here. So sometimes I've been by the boardwalk. I've seen little otters playing in the Crescent Lake between the boardwalk and Hollywood Studios. You know, all sorts of things. So right down here too, they do fishing excursions. So here we got some people. You can see them a bit down towards the bottom of your screen there on the right. Pontoon boat, and they're out there fishing. Now it's catch and release. But I've never done a fishing tour. I'm not really a fishing person. I'm just not. I have no reasoning behind it. Just probably patience. I shouldn't shock anybody. But here, yeah, they're down there fishing. I bet this probably is a good place. So we'll turn around right over here and I'll show you. This is also where the entry and the exit in the lagoon is. And that right over there is the water pageant floats that go in and out. So we got to turn around because I'm well past. We only have 6 minutes. Pretty direct path back to the Polynesian, and we'll be pretty much back there, almost close to in time. If I ever go over, it's usually me calling it a cool down. And I might be kind of odd, but just sitting here and watching the monorails is fun too. I could sit here and just hang out and watch them go by. They put a bench out here, but probably no one would use it. Most people are just using the path to get over to the Magic Kingdom. And it's not too far back behind that bridge is where there's a lot of construction for the Behind Big Thunder project. Most people know that as Villain's Land. A lot of land clearing back there. They also have some cast buildings that they're building along with it. There's a good size of land that is going to be a part of that. What it will end up to be, I don't know. That's the tough part, is you see land being cleared and it looks huge, but how much of that is show buildings? How much of that is the space that's needed for restaurants? Because at any of these theme parks, the size, the interior of any of the restaurants, to have them be able to hold and guests to be able to access them at a decent amount of people without people getting like really insane. Like, you have to, the Crystal Palace is massive. I'd love to know which restaurant holds the most people on Walt Disney World property. I'm trying to think which restaurant holds the most capacity, because they all have a pretty large capacity. There's only a few of them. I'll give you an example. The Plaza. Oh, I could rave. Not enough people give the Plaza restaurant in Magic Kingdom. I feel like it's kind of tucked away. and it's not given enough credit. It's mainly sandwiches. They just put a skull meatloaf on the menu for the Not So Scary Party, but they've got great desserts that kind of pair with the ice cream side of things right next door. But the Plaza restaurant is very small. Very small. They have, I'm gonna guess, 40 tables at most. 40 maybe. And these are small tables. I love it and I hate it, because if I go in there, the tables are, in my thoughts, seem to be smaller than some of the other restaurants. So if you just want to set your bag, no can do. You won't have room for your drinks and your food. So it's adorable in there. I love the food. It's delicious. They've got a lot of good options, but it's small. It's small. I just checked a little bit on your comments. Yeah, Aaron, Joe Cool USA, Tim Pendleton, Norman, thank you. You're welcome. Hello, Carol. Mary McMorrow, Colleen, Tim Pendleton. Oh, the Gasparilla Island Grill here. This is quick service. And it might be, speaking of treats or desserts, it might be one of my favorite quick services. For a good reason. It is at the Grand Floridian, so you kind of expect it to be, you know, higher quality, I guess. But you see them back there making everything, and it does take a little bit longer than some of the other quick service, but I never minded it. The desserts there are heavenly. They've got great options. So if you're ever walking past, stop in there. You can order on the app, or you can order by walking in there. They do have sometimes if you order on the app, they'll have a little pop-up that says for guests only. And the primary reason for that, there's the obvious. They want to make sure the guests that actually have a room here can get food in a reasonable amount of time. If you've ever been in Captain Cook's in Polynesian, oh, the lines there to get in that quick service can be intense. But they obviously want to be able to feed the guests who are staying here in a timely manner. But for a long time, there was, and I wholeheartedly disagree with this, I think it's terrible, but people would book a quick service food item, we'll say even like a water, something as ridiculous as just a bottle of water from the quick service. And because the security gate doesn't have access to what you ordered, and they'll say, oh, I have a quick service order, so I need to go pick it up. And then the tip was, just make a quick service order and then you can park and go in and hang out and then go to the parks and do all the stuff. And I disagree with that wholeheartedly. So that's why you see that added, is it avoids that conversation of, well, you know, you can't get through the gate. Like, we're not going to let you place a mobile order for a water and then tell the gate, well, I have to pick it up. I paid for it. Well, you didn't really pay for it, because you can cancel at any time. But that was the tip that many people were giving out. Just do a mobile order. and the gate will let you in. And then they'd use the facilities, they'd use the parking lots. So that's primarily what that's there to avoid. If you were already here, we'll say maybe you had some dinner at Narcoossee's, you walked around, you said, oh, let's grab some desserts to go. That's not the issue at hand. Go ahead, get your desserts, it's fine. Nobody's gonna stop you, nobody's concerned about that. It's that kind of stuff that they're trying to avoid. Good morning, good morning. A salute to traveling, hello. Taylor's World, hello. Richard, hello. The plaza, yes, I see you guys all talking about the plaza. All of it. So, once again, here's another of my oddities. By the way, if you are training with us, we just finished our 45 minutes. I'm calling this the cool down as I finish the little turn over here back into the Polynesian. You guys can hang out with me. But yes, when I go into the plaza, I love their turkey club. I'm a sucker for a really good sandwich, and their turkey club I love so much. I believe it's on sourdough. I'm a wheat bread kind of person. Judge me if you wish, but it's a big sandwich. It comes with French fries, but I think you can swap it out for a side salad if you want. I don't remember, because I'm normally focused on eating this delicious sandwich, not really worried about the other stuff. Harper, I'd love to tell you what Harper loves there, but you know what Harper loves? She's in it for the dessert there. They have really fun desserts, and around Halloween season, just seasonally in general, they update their menu. Not just for the parties, but during the day too. They'll have some seasonal dishes, desserts. I'm trying to think of other restaurants. We talked about Narcoossee's as being a hidden gem, the Plaza, a hidden gem. We were supposed to be talking about resorts and motivation, and I feel like I'm just motivating you to go to all the desserts and restaurants. That's your motivation, to go out and do your run, walk, jog, spin. So then you can go and have these treats in moderation. This is your motivation to go get those treats. Go out, do your walk, and then have yourself a delicious sundae. Oh my gosh. Well, this didn't go as planned. Oh, funny. But look, beautiful morning. Super peaceful on the walkway today. Good morning, Christopher Robinson. Good morning, Teresa. Yeah, let me know in the chat if there are any restaurants that you think are hidden gems. Where I've been trying to try, I just haven't made a huge effort on it, but I've heard that a hidden gem is Sebastian's at the Caribbean Beach. And we were going to try it last night. I just couldn't get a reservation. I kept checking and checking. I couldn't. It's all you care to eat. Obviously, Caribbean themed food. But instead of being a buffet, it's just bring it to your table and shared with the table. So I've been reading that's kind of the new go-to. Like, heck with Ohana, and they're $70 per person. You don't even get to meet a character. $70. I need to go to Ohana, and then my thumbnail's gonna be Is it as bad as they say? Because there is constantly reviews of, I'm paying $70, one of the most expensive restaurants on property. You don't meet a character, and it doesn't live up to the hype. They've had some real disappointments of reviews. And I know people love it because they love the nostalgia of it. But I've heard repeatedly, it's still hard to get into. It's so hard to get into Ohana, breakfast or dinner. But I'm hearing people are swapping Ohana and say, no. Heck with Ohana. I'm going back to Sebastian's from now on. And I've read that from multiple random reviews and people. Yeah, Yachtsman's a good one. Okay, let's see here. Derek's Light, hello. Well, just for funsies and because I'm baking a bit, we'll walk through the Grand Ceremonial House before I wrap up. Maybe I'll sit in there and say goodbye. You can run through the Grand Ceremonial House. How often do you do that? This is the cool down of our 45-minute portion. Literally. I long for the days when I'm not having to take 3 showers a day. Oh, heavenly. Absolutely heavenly. Ooh. Okay. They have all their Halloween stuff in here. Well, it's been great. It's been a wonderful walk. I hope that you had a great time. I hope your training is going well for Run Disney. I've got some plans. Hopefully we can make that virtual training session happen and do some giveaways with the medals. So check out Run Disney's website for that. You guys did awesome. One of the things that I think is holding a lot of people back is just confidence, and having the confidence to do all the things that you want to achieve and the goals that you have. Just remember that you can do it. You absolutely are strong enough. It just takes one foot in front of the other to get started and a little bit to get going, and that's half the battle. So with that, I'm going to say goodbye. Excuse my... It's 100 degrees out there, but it's been awesome. You guys, don't forget, we have much more streams. We've got D23 from California coming up. So it's not a goodbye, it's to see you real soon, and good luck on all your training.
You're watching Park Pass TV, your ticket to live, family-friendly theme park adventures. Everything from Disney, Universal, SeaWorld, and beyond in full live HD. Turn to Adam and Kristen for all the best rides, snacks, nighttime shows, and breaking theme park news. Make sure to subscribe and turn notifications on to never miss a minute of magic. Welcome to our Passholder family. Park Pass TV. No reservations needed.
you came for. This is the moment magic was made for. Come on, come on, let's light up the sky now. You feel the magic happening right now.